All right, what's up, guys? This lesson that I'm going to record here today, we're going to be dealing with Cinema 4D, and the reason we're going to go over this is Cinema 4D is a 3D modeling program, and we need to know how to use Cinema 4D because a big part of this class will be creating things for the video board at Riley, and to do that, we need to know how to create 3D objects and animate them and things like that, whether it be for soccer, football, track. So what we're going to do, so we can make stuff like this. So this animation or graphic made for the video board was made in Cinema 4D. Also, we used Illustrator, After Effects, and Premiere to make this whole 6-second graphic there. So let's show you how to do this. Like this Salem logo was made in Cinema 4D. The Quaker Crazies text was made in Cinema 4D. It's kind of 3D text there, you can see. So let's show you how we do that. The first thing that we want to do is grab a logo. And I'm going to grab one here. I think this might be a vector. See, this is a vector image. A vector image just means that there's no background behind it. It's just this logo here. A lot of times, like if we clicked on this logo, it has a white background. So when you throw it in, I don't know, like a PowerPoint or something, it's going to show a white background around it, and we don't want that. But if you find, if you just save a regular JPEG, that's fine. This would be a regular JPEG image. That's okay. I'm going to use this vector image here. And once you find your logo, whatever logo it is, you're just going to save it either to the desktop or your flash drive. So I'm just going to click Save Image As, and that looks good, Taco Bell logo. I'll save it to the desktop and hit Save. Okay, so now we have that vector image saved, or your JPEG image, whatever it is. We're going to open up Adobe Illustrator, which is right here, AI. We'll open up Adobe Illustrator, click File, Open. I'm going to try and go as fast as I can. I don't want it to be a real long video, but there are a lot of steps here, so feel free to pause the video at any time or rewind so you get it. All right, so File, Open, and Taco Bell logo, there it is in my desktop. Just double click that to bring it in. If I zoom out here, you can see this box around it, and yours might be smaller or bigger depending on the size of the file. When you bring it in, it probably won't be highlighted. Like there's no blue box around here unless I scroll my mouse over it. We want to make sure that that's highlighted because up here we don't have the options that we want. If we want, basically what we're using Illustrator for, and I don't know a lot about Illustrator. I'm not going to claim to know a lot about Illustrator. Basically all I use it for is to get the paths or the outlines of an object that I want to bring into Cinema 4D. That's all I use it for. So if we wanted to, we could use this pen tool here if we wanted to, and we could outline this shape, and this could take a long time. We could click around this object here, and we could get a really good outline doing that. But we're going to try and speed this process up. So let me just undo that. And we could do that for each shape here, and we could bring all that into Cinema 4D. We're going to try and speed this up. So what you want to do is make sure that the direct selection tool is highlighted, this arrow up here, and then you just click on the logo. And now you can see that the options up here have changed a little bit. Like if I click off of it, we don't have the options I need. I'm going to click on the logo, and now these options come up here. What I want to hit is image trace, but if I just hit image trace, watch what happens to the logo here. It makes this whole bell part just like one solid color, and we don't want that because if I hit undo, you can see that we have like the bell is pink, and then we have like a shadow here that's blue. We want all of these separate paths here. So a good way around that is if you click this arrow next to image trace, the one that works the best, I think, is shades of gray. And it's just going to take each color and make it a different shade of gray and give you an outline of each shape there, which is basically what we're doing. We're just getting the shapes that make up this logo. So shades of gray, and it's going to take a while to process this. It's basically just breaking up the logo into these different shapes, which is what we want. There you go. You can see now we have this shape still intact, and it's not just one solid color black. So now what we want to do is hit expand. We're going to expand this so that it just shows the path. Each one of these objects is going to be a separate path or outline. So we hit expand, and there we go. Now if I hit on the direct selection tool, like right now I'm on the selection tool, if I hit the direct selection tool, you'll notice I have the ability to, select each object. So this is its own shape, and that's its own shape, and we have this as a shape. Even each letter is its own specific shape. And I don't even know if I'm going to use these letters because we'll have to bring it into Cinema 4D separately, the A, the B, and the O, because of the holes in the middle of them. But anyways, we have what we want here. This is good. So if your logo looks like this and it's made the paths, all of the paths in your logo, or has the outlines of the shape, so now we just want to save it. Very important, up here you're going to hit File, Save As, and it's going to save it as an AI or Adobe Illustrator file. That's what we want. Now I'm just going to save this to the desktop. You can save it to a folder that you have on your desktop or your flash drive. So Taco Bell logo 9.ai, that's good. I hit save, and it's going to bring up these other options here. And this is very important because we need to save this as an Adobe Illustrator 8 file. And this is something that I learned from watching a guy named Sean Frangella online. He is a graphic artist from Chicago. If this kind of stuff interests you, I highly recommend looking at some of his videos. He's got some good stuff on Cinema 4D. So we have to save it as an Illustrator 8 file because this is what Cinema 4D is going to recognize. So we change that to Illustrator 8, and this little warning will pop up. Don't worry about that. We just hit OK. All right, and we're done with Illustrator. So we can close out of Illustrator now. And what we want to do now is get into After Effects. Because we don't own a licensed version of Cinema 4D, we don't have the full version. We have the light version of Cinema 4D, which is okay. We have to open up Cinema 4D through After Effects, okay? So we're going to open up After Effects, and I already have it opened, and just click on New Project. And then go up to File, New, Maxon Cinema 4D file. And it's going to ask you to title it, and we can just call this Taco Bell logo. And we're going to hit save. And that should bring up Cinema 4D. You can see here we have that in After Effects, and now it opens up Cinema 4D. Okay, real quick, the controls of Cinema 4D. This little circle up here in the right-hand corner will let us rotate around our scene. And this arrow will let us zoom in. If we click and hold on it, we can go up to zoom in and down to zoom out. Again, we're clicking, holding, and then we can go left to rotate around right, and right to rotate around left. And then this button here, if we click and hold, we can move up, down, left, and right, but all, we're not changing the view here. We're just looking at whatever the object is from in front. Okay, so there's the basic controls. Now what we want to do is bring in the outlines of our shape. So we're going to go over here to File and hit File, Merge Objects. And we're going to bring in the Illustrator file that we saved, Taco Bell logo .ai. Or whatever your logo is. Now this is important. You don't want to make sure that this is unchecked. Make sure that Connect Splines is unchecked and Group Splines is unchecked, and you're just in 1. The scale is 1. That's fine, and hit OK. Okay, now you can see it brought in our logo a little off center. So what I like to do, again, I learned this from Sean Frangella, make sure that the logo is highlighted. You can see if we click off of it, it's not orange. We want to make sure the logo is highlighted. And then down here under coordinates, we're just going to zero this out. So I double click to highlight, hit 0. Double click to highlight, hit 0. And there we go. Now it's at 0, 0, 0 on the X, Y, and Z axis. And if I zoom out a little bit, there you go. Now it also brought in some paths that we don't need, like this box around it. We don't need that. So we can go ahead and get rid of these. And what you want to do now is take all of your outlines, all of your splines out of the group. So if we hit the plus sign here to open up this Taco Bell null or group, think of it as a folder. We're going to open that up and you can see all the different paths that it's brought in. Okay, we want to get rid of some of these because we don't need all of them. You might need, you might have a very basic logo that you brought into your scene and you can keep all the splines that it brought in, but I don't need all of these. So what I'm going to do, see number 1, path number 1 is just this box and we don't need it. So I can go ahead and hit backspace to delete it. Okay, I don't need that path. This path I'm going to save. It's good. This path, I don't remember. Yeah, I need that, so we'll keep that. Keep that. Now, I'm going to get rid of these letters for now. I can bring them back in later, but just because the holes in the B and the A and the O are going to throw off our extrudes a little bit, I don't need those. I'm going to get rid of all the letters. See how these are separate? If I wanted to bring those in, I'd bring them in group splines or connect splines, but I did not do that with these letters, so I'm going to get rid of these. Okay. All right. Oops. I need that. Must have missed the A. There it is. Okay. So now, what you want to do, like if it brought in a bunch of different groups, like if you have a group here with some splines, and then, like say in here, there's another group. You can just hit the plus sign to open that group up and find all the paths. What you really want to do is rename these to stay organized. So I could say that if you just click on it, hit enter, that's going to allow you to rename it. I could say, if I go back and look at this logo, I could say, I could call this main pink, and then this would be outer blue, I think, right? That was blue. Oops, outer blue. Bottom of the bell, or bell bottom, bell bottom. Let's see, bottom, oops, I didn't hit enter there, sorry. Bottom corner, top right blue, I guess. This is blue? Yeah. Left bell blue. I don't know. I mean, you can name them whatever you want, just so you know what they are. Bell circle. Okay. What color is that? White bell highlight. I don't know. And then this would be the actual bell. Okay. Now what do I want to do after you've gone through and renamed all of your paths? You want to make sure they're out. Just take them, highlight them all, and take them out of the groups that they're in. So you can see this is in a group, and again, you might have more groups. It might have brought them in a bunch of different groups. So what I want to do is just lasso all of the stuff. I just click, drag up to lasso all of this, and now I'm just going to click and hold in and drag it out of this folder basically. So down here, and now it's out of this folder. I can get rid of this. So I can click on Taco Bell logo, this null object, and just hit backspace and get rid of it. So now I'm left with just the splines. Okay. Now what we're going to do is extrude this out or make it a 3D object. As you can see up here, our render settings, you always want to make sure. So we need to change our render settings. If you look at this grayed out part here on the left and the right, that's because it's not in high definition right now. So under render settings up here, edit render settings, we're going to click on that and change it to 1920 by 1080. That would be high definition. And then we're going to lock that ratio right here. This little box underneath that. And then we also want to go over here to effect, and we're going to bring in ambient occlusion, which will just let more light bounce off of our object. So ambient occlusion. There's a lot more settings on the like the real Cinema 4D that we don't have on light. So that's all we're going to do. Then we'll just X out. Now we're going to make this 3D. It's not 3D right now. So if we clicked on render, render view. So this, if you ever want to see what your scene is going to look like when you render it out, the final product, you're going to click on render view. And if I do that right now, it's just a black screen, right? Because all we have here is the vector, the vector files, the vector information. These are just splines. There's nothing 3D about them. They're not. We need to put some polygons into these splines. It's not polygonal data. So what we want to do, we can just click here to come back to our view. We want to make it 3D. So how do we do that? Well, we go up here to subdivision surface, click and hold, and that will open up this window of options. And the option you want is extrude. We're going to extrude this out. So again, click, hold, and then go over to extrude and let go. And that has dropped this extrude into our scene, or into this project panel over here. So now what we want to do is we want to drop all of the splines into this extrude. Basically we want to make this extrude the parent of all of these splines. So think of a parent-child relationship. You want to make these children of this parent. So whatever information this extrude has, like whatever characteristics this extrude has, these then, if we make these children of that, would have to have the same characteristics. So whatever the parent does, the child has to do too. So if I just take this main pink, click, hold, and drag on top of the extrude and let go, now you can see we have some 3D things going on here, right? Like it's an object now. Now if I go up here and click the render view, you're going to see that we have something. We have, looks like, a big clay gray blob. All right, so we have some 3D things going on. We want to make all of these things 3D. So if I hit Control Z, I'm going to undo this. I'm going to click, hold, and drag to lasso all of these splines, and then I'm going to drag all of them at the same time under this extrude, or on top of this extrude. So click, hold, and drag on top of the extrude, let go, and now you can see the same thing happened, right? They're all children of this extrude, this parent extrude, but only the top is showing up. Okay, so how do we fix that? Very easy. We just make sure that the extrude is highlighted. Click on extrude and go down to object here in the properties, and we just want to make sure we click hierarchical. So we'll click hierarchical, and now it's made all of these splines or paths 3D. It's extruded all of them out. Okay, You can see now all of these are extruded. Now you can't see all of them because they're all the same width right now, and we're going to fix that here in a second, but they're all a 3D shape, which is good. This is what we want. Now, if I turn this to the side here, we can do a couple different things. First, we're going to change the caps of this, because if I zoom in here, you can see that it's just very like a straight edge, and if I hit render here, you know, it's very boring. It's a very straight line. There's not a lot of things going on with this shape, right? So what I want to do is change the edge, and to do that, we're going to change the caps. So if I go highlight the extrude and go to caps, we're going to change the start cap up here to fillet cap, and I want you to watch what happens to the edges of this object when I change this to fillet cap. There you go. You can see it rounded it a little bit, and it's rounding it by 1 step, right? Like we can change that to 2 steps, and you can see it got a little skinnier, or it rounded it a little more. There's 2 steps now. And now if I hit render, you can see there's a little bit more like light bouncing around off of this object, and that's good. That's what we want. That looks good. So we've made this 2 steps, and we can smooth this out even more. Make sure extrude's highlighted. We can make the radius of those steps smaller, which I think we want to do. Whoops, that was bigger. So if I bring that down to like 2 and 2, that looks okay. And we can do the same on the back. Like this start is just the front of our object. You can see the back is still like a straight edge. So we want to change this cap. And maybe you don't, maybe you want to leave the back straight, flat, smooth. But if we want to do the same thing to back, we hit fillet cap. We can make that 2 steps, bring it down here. Okay, there you go. And now we can change the thickness of all of these extrudes. If we go back to object, you can see right here movement. We can bring this out. I mean, we can increase it however thick or thin we want it to be. And you can move this along the x-axis however you want. We're going to make this, I don't know, let's make it 40 centimeters. Okay. So if I zoom out a little bit, there you go. But it still doesn't look like the Taco Bell logo, right? Because number 1, there's no color to it. And number 2, you can't see all of the detail going on. So if I was to make a color, and I'll come back to color in a minute here, but if I was to make a material, I should say, and I'll explain it here in a minute, so don't freak out. But if I was to make, I don't know, that pink, whoops. That's more like a purple. I don't know. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to use this. I was to make this pink, and I wanted to, let's see, throw it on this bell. And obviously, I just want it on this part. But if I threw it on this object now by clicking and dragging onto this object, or clicking and dragging onto this extrude, it would make the entire thing that color, right? Like if I hit Control C, and this says main pink, right? So I want to take this material and drop it just on the main pink. Well, nothing happened the color here because this is just a spline. This is just an outline. This isn't a 3D object. I dropped the color on the spline. I want to drop it on this extrude. So hit Control Z. Even if I do that, because all of these are under the same extrude, it's making the whole thing that color. And we don't want that. So I'm going to hit Control Z. Let me get rid of this color really, because I'll make it a different color later. And now an easy way to fix this, to extrude all of these out, we're going to highlight extrude, and we're going to hit either C, or over here in the top left hand corner, this button, we're going to make editable. Okay, so be careful here. When you hit make editable, you can no longer change any of the attributes. You can't go back here. Maybe you think down the road, oh, it's too thick or it's too thin, I want to change that. Well, once you make it editable, you're not going to be able to do that. You're not going to be able to rename these anymore. So before you make this editable, you want to make sure that all of your splines are named, and your caps are the way you want them, and the thickness is the way you want it. So make sure that that's the case, because once you make it editable, you're not going to be able to go back and change any of that stuff. So I'm going to make sure Extrude is highlighted, and I'm just going to hit C, or this button over here that now I can't hit make editable, and now you can see it's grouped it back into like another null object or folder. And now if I open it up by hitting this plus sign, you can see it's made all of these extrudes. It's taken all of our splines, and you can see our splines are underneath all of these extrudes. If you open up each extrude, you can see that spline in there, or that outline of each object. So now they're all extruded out, and this is good. Now if I made a color, let's try and get that pink again. Now if I made a color and dropped on the main pink by clicking, holding, and dragging over to main pink, now it's just the part that we want, and that's good. So now what do we want to do here to make this look a little bit better? Well, we don't want them to all be, right on top of each other. We want to make some things stick out further, and that's very easy to do. Let's say I want to bring this main pink out further, so I just click on main pink, and you can see I can move this up on the y-axis here by clicking on the green axes, click, hold, and drag up. Oops. I don't know how I got on scale, but you don't want to make sure that I'm on move. This is on scale. I want it to move. So now if I click, hold, and drag up, you can see I can take this anywhere up and down the y-axis. Click Control Z. But what I want to do is bring this out a little bit. Right, so on the x-axis, I bring this out a little bit. That's good. Okay. Okay, let's see. It's really like the wrong color pink. That's okay. So now let's bring some of our other stuff out. Outer blue, we can make that dark blue. Okay, so let's talk about materials real quick. Down here, you're just going to double click to add a new color or make a new material. And there's so many options with material. I'm not going to go into all of them right now, but double click and it'll bring up a sphere, like a gray sphere. I would suggest naming these as soon as you make them, and same thing, just highlight it, hit enter. Whoops. Maybe double click down there. I'm just going to call this pink. And now I'm going to double click on this sphere to bring up all of the properties that I can change. And then to change the color, as you've seen me do, I'm just going to click in this box right here. Double click that box. And we're going to make this like a dark blue. Oh, that looks good. Hit OK. And again, we can change like the reflectance and stuff, all of that stuff, make it look, how shiny or how reflective the color is. We're not going to get into that right now. That looks good. I'm going to double click on matte one down here and call this blue. And now I'm going to drag this here. Again, I can click, hold, and drag on to the object here or up here. Sometimes this is a little bit easier to know what you're dealing with. There we go. Now if I click render here, that's really not as dark as I wanted it. That's okay. I can change that. So if I wanted to go back in and change this, double click. If I make this a little bit darker, it's going to automatically update that color. So you can see it's automatically updated. And this looks gray because of the way the light's hitting it. And we haven't put a light in our scene yet. This is just like the default light. So if I click here and move this around, you can see now the way the light's hitting it, it's going to look like that dark blue that we wanted. Okay. Let's see. So what's blue? A lot, huh? Okay. This is blue and blue and blue and blue. Okay. And again, I can move these things anywhere I want. If I turn it to the side, you can see that pink is sticking out a little bit farther. That's good. That's what we want. We can just make it thicker to stick out. Like it could stay on the same edge. Like, let's see. Oh, see how I just make it thicker? So instead of bringing it forward, I can move this back and make it thicker so it sticks out on both sides. I don't know. It's up to you how you want to do that. Maybe your logo, whatever logo you chose, is good right where it is. Like it doesn't have to stick out. Let's see. What else do I have to do here? I need to make a white. So don't click that. All the way up in the corner. Make a white. And we'll drop that here. Where else is there white? That's it, huh? Okay. Is this blue? Yeah, blue here. Now we can't, there we can start to see that bell. And if I want to bring that out so that we can see it, that's more like a yellow, right? So I'll make another color, and I should have named this white. And you can get a lot of colors and materials going on here. So white. We're going to make this yellow, I'm sorry. Yellow. It's like a mustard yellow there, I don't know. Drag that onto the bell. There you go, Taco Bell. So if I hit render, that's what it's going to look like. Now again, there's no lights in here, this scene, there's no background, but it looks pretty cool, right? It's a 3D logo, it's a good start. So that's all I'm going to go over for this. Oh, there's more stuff here, isn't there? Nope. That's good. So that's all I'm going to go over for this lesson. If you just get it to this point, the next lesson we'll talk about making infinite backgrounds and animating your objects and stuff like that. But for now, hopefully you have a logo, it's extruded out, and you've made some materials and thrown them on your logo, and it looks like a 3D version of the logo that you chose. All right, we will see you later.